Stockholm Syndrome is a condition that causes hostages to develop a psychological alliance with their captors as a survival strategy during captivity. These feelings, resulting from a bond formed between the captor and the captive during intimate time spent together, are generally considered irrational in light of the dangers or risks endured by the victims. This condition was formally named in 1973 when four hostages was taken during a bank robbery in Stockholm, Sweden. These hostages defended their captors after being released and would not testify against them in court. They developed a positive feeling towards their captors. They had no previous hostage-captor relationship. They refused to cooperate with the police and the government authorities, and they wanted to show the humanity of their captors. Let's talk about the Black Greeks for a second. Now, the Black Greeks have been out since the early 1900s at least, and they still calling themselves Black Greeks when they can just look up the Grecian history and find out who the blacks in that area was. But that's irrelevant for the moment. My focus is that Black Greeks, especially Boule, we know that their whole system set up is to protect the European system, and they actually act as spies on our community to go run and tell their daddy what we doing and to make sure that they keep us in line for their daddy so they can keep getting that hug that they want so much. And if we look in ancient Egypt, we had something called Hellenism at that time where blacks and even Israelites were converting to this Hellenism brought in by Alexander the Macedonian. He wanted to spread Greek culture into the world, so they was practicing a form of Hellenism. Now you come into America in 2018, you have black people still under the influence of Hellenism because they still suffering from this condition that predates Stockholm Syndrome. They can't let go of this European culture, so they keep clutching and grabbing on it. So my story, in full and part, on Stockholm Syndrome is its origin is amongst African Americans. It predates 1973. We still suffer from Stockholm Syndrome because our captors kidnapped us, and we really think the system that they monopolize, we're going to ever get up out of. It'll never be equal. You'll never see economic justice. You'll never see social justice. None of that stuff because it's their system. If your kid invites their friend over to your house, her friend is never going to get the same treatment that you would give your own kid in the house. And if you do, you're a bad parent. That's the thing. White people are never going to give black people the same treatment in this country. We must separate. We must break the Stockholm Syndrome that we still holding on to, loving our captors and our abusers. We must make moves. But I'm going to end this with a clip from an FBI agent named Julia Brown. She was talking about infiltrating Martin Luther King group and communist groups at that time. But her statements let you know that that same Stockholm condition, she had it in 1968 before 1973.
Well, I say it is frightening, and it should be frightened to the entire American people that he has demanded $10 billion. And if he doesn't get it, then there may be riots this summer. Martin Luther King is nothing but a blackmailer, and he should be arrested for blackmailing because he certainly has blackmailed the United States government.
There's one thing that bothers me, and that, as a Negro yourself, why do you talk so bitterly against Martin Luther King and a lot of these other people of your race?
Well, let me tell you something. I don't put my race before I do my country. Being a Negro woman doesn't matter to me who is a Negro or who is a white person. If they are enemies of our country, then they are certainly my enemies too.
I have to say this, and I'll sit down. Back during slavery, when black people like me talked to the slaves, they didn't kill them. they send some old house Negro along behind him to undo what he said. You have to read the history of slavery to understand this. There were two kinds of Negroes. There was that old house Negro and the field Negro. And the house Negro always looked out for his master. When the field Negroes got too much out of line, he held them back in check. He put them back on the plantation. The house Negro could afford to do that because he lived better than the field Negro. He ate better, he dressed better, and he lived in a better house. He lived right up next to his master in the attic or the basement. He ate the same food his master ate and wore his same clothes. And he could talk just like his master. Good diction. And he loved his master more than his master loved himself. That's why he didn't want his master hurt. If the master got sick, he'd say, "What's the matter, boss? We sick?" He was as sick as the master. When the master's house caught a fire, he'd try and put the fire out. He didn't want his master's house burned. He never wanted his master's property threatened. And he was more defensive of it than the master was. That was the house Negro. But then you had some field Negroes who lived in huts, had nothing to lose. They wore the worst kind of clothes. They ate the worst food. And they caught hell. They felt the sting of the lash. They hated their master. Oh, yes, they did. If the master got sick, they prayed that the master died. If the master's house caught a fire, they prayed for a strong wind to come along. This was the difference between the two. And today you still have house Negroes and field Negroes.